So when it comes to multiplying fractions, again, the idea is very sincere. Just multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators, and then that's it. Simplify if you need to. Simplify if you need to. So with that said, let's go ahead and try these out. Let me go ahead and actually give you, I'm going to give you an easier example before we get into these examples. I'm going to help you appreciate this in a moment here. So let's go ahead and try out this example here, everybody. Let's say we have 2/3 times 1/4. Let's go ahead and try this out, everybody. Help me out, my party people. What is 2 multiplied by 1? That's going to be 2. And then we have 3 multiplied by 4. That's going to be what? That's going to be 12. Right? Nice and easy, right? That's the idea. When multiplying fractions, you just multiply the numerator, multiply the denominators, and then at the end, if we can simplify, please go ahead and simplify. So what can we simplify here, everybody? What can we simplify here? Right, we can simplify by reducing by 2, because 2 and 12 are both divisible by 2, and we are good there. So my party people, let's get it done. 2 divided by 2 is what? Yeah, it's going to be 1. And then 12 divided by 2 is going to give us what? Divided by 2. We're dividing here. We're dividing. Yeah, that's going to be 6. So the answer here is going to be 1/6. Now, is there anybody here asking, well, is there an easier way to do this? And that's what you should always be asking. Is there an easier way? Is anybody wondering that? Is anybody here wondering that? Is there an easier way to get this done? Come on, let's be real. Let's be real. If we didn't have to breathe for ourselves, we wouldn't. We're lazy at heart. We want to get this done as easy as possible. We want to get this done as easy as possible. And so the thing is, David's like, hey, yo. So with that, here we go. Let me go ahead and show you how to do this in an easier way. Over here, check this out. I'm going to do the same exact problem, everybody. I'm going to do the same exact problem. 2/3 times 1/4. Everybody, here's where this idea comes from. And look over here. The final answer is 1/6. We know what the final answer is. It's right there. 1/6. Let me show you how easy this can be. Everybody, is it true that when we multiply, this is going to be 2 times 1, and that's going to be 3 times 4? Is that true? Yes or no? Right? That's going to be true. That's the idea. That's what it's going to look like, right? You multiply the numerators, 2 times 1, multiply the denominators, 3 times 4. Everybody, is it also true? Is it also true that 3 times 4 is the same as 4 times 3? Is it true that I could rewrite this as not 3 times 4, but 4 times 3? Is it true that I could write it that way? Is it true? I'm just setting y'all up real quick because y'all gonna be like, yo, word, you can do that? Yes, watch this. So we have this 2/1 divided by 4/3. Quick question, everybody. Could we simplify the 2 and the 4? Can we simplify that? They're above each other, right? Could we simplify it? What are 2 and 4 both divisible by? Yeah, they're both divisible by 2. They're both divisible by 2. They're both divisible by 2. And so this becomes 1, this becomes 2. And so this turns into 1 times 1 over 2 times 3. Everybody, 1 times 1 is 1. What's 2 times 3? 6. Now that looks like a lot of work, but it really is not. I just did this to prove a point, everybody. Let me show you the final way to look at this. Bear with me. I got you. Let me show you the final way to look at this. Let me just copy this again. And I'm going to show you the secret of multiplying fractions. This is the secret to multiplying fractions. Ferris, don't worry, because watch this. The idea was this. Let me show you right here. We got 2 over 3 times 1 over 4. All I was saying was this. The 2, oh, I'm not going to use that color. Let me use red. 2 and 4. I can simplify them. One of them's on the numerator, the other one's on the denominator. Everybody, 2 and 4 are both divisible by what again? They're both divisible by 2. If I were to do it this way, check this out, my party people. I turn this problem into 1 over 3 times 1 over 2. Everybody, what is that going to turn into? What's 1 times 1 over 3 times 1 over 2? What's that going to give us? Right, straight up, that's going to give us 1 over 6. Done. You can simplify first before you multiply. This is the original way that we just did. Multiplying, then simplifying. You can actually simplify before you multiply. That's the key I'm showing here. You can get problems done much, much faster because you're dealing with 2 smaller numbers, so two smaller fractions, as opposed to 1 bigger fraction. And so if you're looking at this, so the second way was necessary to show you how this actually works, because I was just setting you up. Let me show you how easy we can make certain problems. Allow yourselves, take a quick screenshot. I'm going to go ahead and give you just 10 seconds here to take a quick screenshot. All right, so here's what we're going to do now. Hopefully you're taking a screenshot. What we're going to do here is this, my party people. I'm going to show you how useful this is. All right, number 1, 4 over 9 times 15 over 14. You guys, I know that we like to figure things out faster. I know we like actually understanding what we're doing. So look at this. I'm going to go ahead and show you this. All right, cool. 4 times 15. Everybody, does anybody here know what 4 times 15 is on top of their head? Who knows? Who knows what it is? What's 4 times 15? What's that going to be? 60. Okay, great. And then we got 9 times 14. What's that going to be? Oh, who knows what 9 times 14 is on top of their head? Who knows what 9 times 14 is at the top of their head? I mean, I'm not going to say it's 126. I'm not the math genius here. What is 9 times 14? Off the top of your head. 126. Okay, sounds good. So boom, 126. Okay, great. Now, everybody, when you look at this and you try to simplify this, help yourself out. Who wants to simplify that? Who wants to simplify that? I'll wait. Right? We don't want to simplify that. We do not want to simplify that, but I'm going to make you do it anyway to make you appreciate what I'm about to show you here. So everybody, 60 and 126. What do we know goes into both 60 and 126? What number goes into both 60 and 126? If you knew, you could say 6. You could say 2. You could say 3, right? Because those would both work. But I'm going to show you. 2 would work. Let me go ahead and start with a smaller number. Let's divide them both by 2. So 60 divided by 2, that's going to be 30. 126 divided by 2 is 63. Are we done simplifying, everybody, or can we keep reducing? Yeah, Dorian, 6 is definitely the fastest, but just in case you didn't see that, because 126 is pretty big, just in case you didn't see that, we got to make sure we go with the surefire way and then go from there. Yeah, we can definitely keep on going. Everybody, what can we divide 30 and 63 by? What can both of them be divided by? 3. Yeah, they can both be divided by 3. So we can divide the top and the bottom by 3. And so let's go ahead and do that then. Everybody, what's 30 divided by 3? 30 divided by 3 is 10. 63 divided by 3, what's that going to be? What is that going to be? Not 12. I think we might have some the 60 there. 21. Yeah, 21. 21 there. 21. And so there we have 10 over 21. Is that as much as we can do, everybody? Is that as much as we can do? Is it 10 over 21? No, that's it. That's it. We're good. There's nothing else. There's nothing else we can do. There's nothing else we can do. But I bet you if you're doing all that work, you might be kind of talking to yourself like, yo, is there anything else? Like, is there anything else? Right? You might be getting angry. You're like, yo, I just did all that work. Now, let me show you why Coach Anderson is the teacher that he is. Let me go ahead and rewrite this problem. 4 over 9 multiplied by 15 over 14. All right, everybody, pay attention real quick. Pay quick attention here. Let's take a look at the tops and the bottoms. Because remember, when you're simplifying a fraction, it's you divide the top and the bottom by the same thing. Look at this, everybody. Is it possible for me to divide the 2 out of both the 4 and the 14? Can we divide 2 out of both of those? Can we divide? Yeah, we absolutely can. Absolutely. Let me go ahead and get on that. Let me divide them both by 2. So that 4 is going to turn into a 2. That 14 is going to turn into a 7. Okay, great. I got another question. Aren't 15 and 9 both divisible by a certain number? What are 15 and 9 both divisible by? Yeah, they're both divisible by 3. They're both divisible by 3. So let me divide that 3 out of there and divide that 3 out of there as well. And so if I do that, that 15 turns into a 5, that 9 turns into a 3. So what have I effectively done right here? What I've effectively turned this problem into, before I even multiplied it all, is this. I've effectively reduced it to this. One moment. There we go. So we have 2 over 3 times 5 over 7. Now, everybody, now that we've done that, is there anything else to simplify? Is there anything else to simplify? All right, sounds good. Let's go ahead and multiply then. So everybody, what's 2 times 5? That's so hard, right? What's 2 times 5? That's a lot harder than 4 times 15. What's 2 times 5, everybody? Oh, okay, that's going to be 10. Okay, sounds good. And what is 3 times 7, everybody? Oh, man, that was so hard. Man, that was so hard. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Now, what was the beauty in that? The beauty in that was you dealt with 4 smaller numbers than 2 massive numbers. All right. We dealt with 4 smaller numbers than 1 massive set. And let me go ahead and show you even better here. Let me use a different color here to kind of highlight this. I'll do pink. Check this out, everybody. Look, I divided by 2 over here, divided by 3 over here on the top and the bottom, divided by 2 and divided by 3. We were able to do that in the beginning right there and right there. We were able to do it in the beginning with the smaller numbers, and we were automatically able to get the final answer without having to simplify 60 and 126. You can deal with smaller numbers much better than you can with bigger ones. That's the idea, everybody. Yes or no? Did that help anybody here out? So these are the things that you learn in these classes. Because remember, guys, it's not just about being able to get the question right. It's about being able to get it right as quickly as possible. Taking the ASVAB is about showcasing your skills to the max. You want to give yourself as much time as humanly possible to answer all the questions. Some questions are going to be easy, some are medium, and some are absolutely ridiculous. But the thing is, some of them are only ridiculous because they take a long time. So by making sure that the easy problems stay easy and doing the medium problems in as little time as possible, you give yourself the opportunity to potentially get these harder questions right. And that's how you get some of our students who get into the 50s, the 70s, the 80s, and 99s. That's how we get there, by basically stretching out the strategies to utilize them the right way. So this is one thing that I always love showing when it comes to handling fractions. And there's so much more out there, way more out there. So with that said, I want to give you guys the opportunity to try number 2 and number 3 here. Try these out. Go ahead. And remember, the rules are multiply straight across and then reduce. But if you can simplify first, try to do it. Go ahead, everybody. Try it out. And Alex, even if you didn't see it, you can do the 4 and the 14 and then look again. Oh, cool. 15 and 9, both divisible by 3. Then do that. Anything else? Anything else? Cool. Straight up and you're good. And you're good. And if you notice in number 3, everybody, right over here, notice with number 3, you can reduce this one right over here straight up. That's fine. That's fine. You can reduce that straight up. You also have that right there that you can reduce. Do your thing. All right. So go ahead and put a little timer up. I'll give you 2 minutes real quick. And let me go ahead and check on your account, Tariq. I got you. Yeah, Tariq, I got you here. You should be good. You haven't signed into your account in a minute, so I think you might be using a different login. But remember that you signed up with your Google account, okay? You signed up with your Google account, so when you sign into the website, hit the Google button, and it should sign you in automatically. You haven't signed in a couple of days. So I see that you might have a different account. And Tariq, go ahead and check the chat box right here. Let me give you the program checklist real quick too. So this is where you can also go to see everything. So that program checklist, make sure to go through all 5 sections. Section number 4 has the list of all of the courses that you got available to you. And the math bootcamp will be in there. Hey, Rashad, you'll get in there, man. Okay, got a couple more seconds here. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. No, we're not allowed to have a calculator in the ASVAB. No, sir. Nope, we are not allowed. So with that, let's go ahead and get it in. Let's go. So this first one here, 3/5 times 15/19. You know, again, checking this out, man, you don't have to put yourself to the torture that you think you do. You know, there's always the straightforward way, and then there's the quick way. You want to understand, you want to appreciate the straightforward way so you can learn the quick way. The quick way would have been multiplying straight across, but we don't have to do that anymore. One thing I noticed is that, hey, right over here, we got 15 on the top and a 5 on the bottom. Remember, simplifying allows you to see it this way. Simplifying allows you to do this. What can I divide from both the numerator and the denominator? Since you're multiplying, they're all one and the same. Since you're multiplying, everything up top is the top, everything on bottom is the bottom. So you can go ahead and do one from one fraction and one from the other, only when you're multiplying. So you can simplify first only when you're multiplying. Write that down. You can simplify first only when multiplying fractions. All right, only when multiplying fractions. So you need my cheat codes? Take my class. All right, so with that said, here we go. Everybody, 15 and 5 are both divisible by what? 15 and 5 are both divisible by 5. Yeah, they're both divisible by 5. So I'll divide that by 5, divide that by 5. And so 15 divided by 5, that's going to be 3. 5 divided by 5 is 1. So this reduces the problem to 3 over 1 times 3 over 19. Is anybody here glad that they didn't have to multiply 5 by 19? Look at that. You don't have to multiply 5 by 19 anymore. You're good, right? We should feel pretty good about that because now we've reduced it and now we can straight up multiply to get 9 over 19. Problem solved. We're done. When you simplify first, you give yourself the opportunity to not have to do the extra work at the end. And there it is. And there is that. And then up next, we have ourselves over here. I'm going to keep that in view. I'll keep that in view still for you. So up next now, we have 9 over 5 multiplied by 10 over 12. Sounds good. So here is an example of a lot of simplification happening. There's a lot of reduction happening. So if we do, I got you, Tariq. So I appreciate you, Harley. So with this one here, if we were to do this straight up, this would end up being 90 over 60. And then if you were able to see that very quickly, you would be able to see that you can divide both the top and the bottom by 30. You could absolutely see that, the top and the bottom by 30. And that would end up being 3 over 2. And so you could get this one fairly quickly if you straight up multiply across. You could see that. But do you want to risk it all the time? Sometimes you got to make sure you look at it and make sure you're doing it the right way in terms of the strategy that you pick, because all the strategies work, but some strategies work better in certain situations. Like going straight up worked a little better this time. But let's say we didn't want to go straight up. Let's say we didn't want to do that. We don't have to. I'm going to go ahead and do it again here. What I can do here is I can say, hey, look, I know that 9 and 12 are both divisible by 3. 9 and 12 are both divisible by 3. So I'm going to go ahead and divide by 3. Divide by 3. That becomes 3. That becomes 4. And what I also noticed is that, hey, actually pretty conveniently, 10 and 5 are both divisible by 5. And so that would become a 2, and that would become 1. And so I can rewrite my problem as 3 over 1 times, and that would be 2 over 4. And then I'm looking at this now and I'm saying, oh, wait, hold up. I can actually simplify a little more here. I can simplify a little more. I know that 2 and 4 are both divisible by 2. And so if I wanted to get that done right there out of the way, divide them both by 2. And so then my final little simplification here would be 3 over 1 times 2, times 2, or excuse me, 1 over 2. And so that would make that problem just a little easier. But you see that this method does take a little longer, even though with the other problems, it saved us, right? It saved our butts. But using it here took a little longer because the convenience was you had 90 and 60. So again, here's my air of caution. You're learning these strategies to apply them when they're convenient. In this situation, with this last problem, wasn't as convenient as the second one, right? With the second one, that saved us from doing a lot of work. With the first one, that saved us from doing a lot of work. But with this last one, it still worked. But the first method, because the product, the multiplication, gave you 90 and 60, that was a little easier to deal with. So yes or no, everybody, do you understand the method? But do you also understand that, hey, it doesn't guarantee the simplest way every single time? The majority of the time, oh yes. Oh yeah. It'll give you an easier time the majority of the time, but not all the time. Okay. And with practice, you'll be able to tell pretty quickly which methods you want to use because you'll be doing this in your head and not actually writing this down on paper. You'll be able to do this in your head and say, yo, I got this, bang, bang, all done.